Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. Before we start, I just want to say a massive shout out and thanks to everyone who supported me so far in 2020. The views and the subscriber count have been going through the roof, so please make sure you do subscribe and hit the bell icon if you haven't already. 5 years ago, Audi announced their original RS Q3. At the time, I thought it was a bit of an odd and niche product. They didn't sell too many of them, but they sold enough clearly to produce another generation of the RS Q3. And let's face it, SUVs, sporty SUVs, smaller SUVs are becoming more and more common. But now they don't just have the RS Q3, they have the RS Q3 Sportback, which is this one behind me. So it has a bit of a sloping rear roofline and I guess arguably looks a bit more like, say, a four-door coupe, something like an RS5 Sportback if you like, but on stilts. I mean, this is a niche of a niche of a niche car, but I'm keen to see what it's like. At time of launch here in the UK, there will be 3 trim levels available for the RS Q3 Sportback. There will be the regular car, which is £53,500 on the road. There will be the Audi Sport Edition, which is £58,500 on the road. And then there's the Vorsprung Edition, which is their flagship version with pretty much all of the options as standard for £62,000 on the road. But when I say nearly all of the options, there are a number of others that you can add to the Vorsprung. For instance, the carbon ceramic brakes at £4,500. You can lift the top speed from 155 miles an hour to 174 miles an hour for just under £2,000. So just adding those two to the Vorsprung model brings that car to almost £70,000 on the road. I was never sure what I thought about the original RS Q3. I thought it looked kind of odd. Maybe it grew on me a little bit over the years, but I never really loved it. And the same goes for this new RS Q3, or this particular one, the RS Q3 Sportback. I think from some angles it looks pretty decent. From others it looks a little bit awkward, but I think it is a confused car. It's trying to be a number of different things in one body shell. But there is no denying that it does look like a small or shrunken down version of the RS Q8 that I tried out in Tenerife at the end of last year. And we all know that that car really impressed me. What's under the bonnet is the real standout feature for the RS Q3 and RS Q3 Sportback. It's Audi's familiar and awesome 2.5 litre 5-cylinder turbocharged engine. In this car it produces 400 PS, which is about 395 brake horsepower, and 480 newton meters of torque. That gets this 1700 kilo car to 62 miles an hour in 4.5 seconds. It has a limited top speed of 155 miles an hour, but as I said in the intro, that can be lifted to a frankly ridiculous 174 miles an hour. You probably won't need that option in the UK. The first and most obvious option on this particular car is the fantastic bright Kailami green paintwork. You'll be glad to hear that Audi are not charging you exclusive paintwork prices for this. It's actually a normal paint option, so £575 gets you this colour. It's very similar to the Verde Mantis green that was on Imran's M3 competition package that I drove recently. Then we have the £995 comfort and sound package, a 3-zone climate control that's £285. We've got the £995 RS Sport Suspension Plus package, which I believe is like a magnetic ride, so an adaptive suspension. We have the £850 Matrix LED light package. They come standard with LED headlamps, but this one's got the Matrix version, so it's like an adaptive headlight that runs in full beam most of the time, but doesn't dazzle other drivers. The £210 storage package, which I'm guessing just adds a few storage bins around the car and in the boot. It has the RS Sports exhaust system, which is £1,000. It has a black styling pack, which includes things like the black Audi rings in the front, which would normally be silver. 21-inch alloy wheels. 21-inch on a car that's this size is just insane. I quite like the alloy wheel design, but I have to say I think the standard 20s that come on the normal RS Q3 and RS Q3 Sportback look the best. I really like the design on those ones. We've got the door mirrors in black. They're also folding, and they've got an auto dim function. So all of that, you're looking at about an extra £200. It's got a tyre pressure monitoring system, which is an option on every single Audi, which I think is very cheeky. And that's £250. And then an Audi phone box for £150. I think that's like a Bluetooth wireless charger pad that's just below the dashboard, which is really handy. Open the back first. What you got to remember is this is only a Q3, so it's not going to be the biggest and most practical car in the world, but as you can see, it's not too bad. That's my driving position, and I do just about fit in the back, so you could get 4 reasonable sized adults in there. And there is a middle bench seat there as well, which can be used. You've got an extra seat belt. When you get in the front, it's lovely, really is. There's some lovely Alcantara trim and stuff in this particular car. These seats are really nice. Again, they've got some Alcantara on the side of them, and then the actual interior is lovely. It's a real nice mixture of Audi's latest sort of touchscreen stuff, their virtual cockpit, and yet some sort of analog style buttons. There's that charging pad down there. Not sure about the automatic gear stick. Looks like a regular one out of a normal Q3, but this particular car doesn't have a sunroof, so it is actually quite dark in here. So if I had one, I'd definitely spec a roof. When you fire it up, this all comes to life. And being a virtual cockpit, which is standard across all of the RS Q3s, you've got a number of different options on there. We can cycle through some of the modes here. So let's just bring the map up when it's ready. We can change the views. So we've got that one there. We can open it up like that. And then when we go for the RS button, which again is a new feature on all new RS cars, when you press it once, you got RS1, you press it again, you got RS2, which are your preset RS modes effectively. And again, when you're in the RS mode, you can cycle through all these modes over there on the left, and then you can also get an alternative view, which is that one, which I think looks cool on camera, but actually in reality is kind of useless. I like to see my speed and my revs a lot more prominent like that. But over here, yeah, you've got all of the touchscreen stuff, which is basically the same as what I had in that RS6 recently and the A6 All-Road. Not the biggest fan of the touchscreen, and it does get lots of greasy fingerprints, but it all works pretty well. And with the analog heater controls and seat heating buttons, I really like that. And you've got your normal traditional volume down there. I think it's a nice compromise, and it's not just too much touchscreen going on. We've also got the Bang & Olufsen sound system in this car, which sounds very, very good, especially in this small confined space. Right, I think it's time to take this car out for a drive, but before we do, let's just give it a quick rev, see what it sounds like. I open the door there. We're in RS1 mode. The valves of the exhaust are open. I think it sounds pretty good. Obviously, this being a 2020 car, the exhaust is muffled with filters and sound regulations, so it's never going to sound like a 2016 Audi RS3, but it doesn't sound too bad, and that is unmistakably an Audi 5-cylinder. love this Kailami green paintwork. I think it looks stunning, and these sort of colours really work well on RS cars, on M cars, on AMG products. I really think they are special, and they really enhance these sort of high level cars. It certainly attracted a lot of attention and looks really good in my sleepy little village. I've found that sporty SUVs either work or don't work, and I've had the opportunity of driving quite a few of them over the past 2 years or so. The brilliant Stelvio Quadrifoglio just does everything. Okay, its fit and finish could be better, its infotainment system isn't the best, but it's an incredible piece of kit when you're really pushing on, and it's a very comfortable piece of kit when you're not. The majority of what Porsche offer in either their Macans or the Cayennes are very good as well. You know, they really are, especially like the GTS versions or the turbo versions. They're brilliant. And BMW's X3 M40i, well, you know that I'm a big fan of that car, has a brilliant B58 engine, and again, it does the normal SUV duties very well, but can still be fun when you're driving down a road like this, which is just great. It's a great all-round package. But BMW could also get it very wrong with cars like the X3M Competition, a car that probably works very well in Germany where the roads are really smooth, but out here where the roads are really bumpy and there's potholes everywhere, I just find that car to be dangerous, and it just doesn't satisfy me. It's okay when you're really pushing on, you're on your own, but as a sort of all-round package, it's just not that great. So I wasn't sure what this particular sports SUV would be like, because I'd heard and read online that it was actually a bit too stiffly sprung and the ride wasn't great. But I tell you what, I'm in RS1 at the moment, and the dampers are in the hardest setting, and I'm going down a horrendous bit of road, and it just deals with everything so well. I've not found the ride to be bad at all with my week driving this car. I just think it's brilliant. It really is. Yeah, you move around a bit because you're sitting a bit higher than normal than say you would be in, let's say, an RS3 or something, but I'm really impressed. And when you consider that we're on optional 21-inch wheels, 21-inch wheels on a car the size of a Q3, it's just madness. It's a bizarre package because I pick and choose the press cars that I want, because I'm not going to ask for something that I dislike to begin with. Sure, I will ask for something that I'm not sure about, and that's this car. You know, I read mixed things about it, but I was quite excited by the package, and it really hasn't disappointed. Practicality wise, it's not the most practical, especially in the rear bit of the cabin, so the back seats. But if you want a bit more practicality back there, then just go for the regular non-Sportback RS Q3, because then you don't have the sloping roofline that looks fantastic from the outside. You know, definitely style or form over function, but when you do get inside the car, you lose a little bit of boot space, and you do lose a little bit of headroom in the back, and it also tends to be a little bit darker in there. In fact, you probably picked that from the camera now. It does need a nice pan roof in here, and for something costing almost £60,000 on the road, that's the size of a Q3, you would hope to have a pan roof, but obviously that's an optional extra that I would definitely tick, especially if I had kids or was planning on taking people around the back regularly, because it just opens up the back a bit and makes it a bit less claustrophobic. Something else that really does help SUVs in general actually on roads that I've found in recent ones that I've driven is you do have a more commanding driving position, and that's great on motorways or when you're in traffic and stuff, because you can see miles down the road. But when you are pushing on down a road like this, you can actually see a lot further than I could see, say, if I was in my M2 now, because I'd be sitting about probably 6 inches lower, which is great for weight and center of gravity down, but it's a bit of a trade-off, because then you can't see down the road as easy as you can when you're sitting up where I am now. But the main standout feature of this car is that 2.5 litre 5-cylinder turbocharged engine, producing just under 400 brake horsepower. It just sounds incredible. Who doesn't love an Audi 5-cylinder lump? I mean, it's amazing. You know, the hairs on my arms are up on end just listening to it. It harks back to the fantastic and successful Audi Quattro and its rally years back in the late 80s. I mean, it's mega, and it really suits this car so well. You know, it deals with the 1700 kilos easily. It throws this car down the road so well. It doesn't feel any slower than an RS3, which is, what, about 200 kilos lighter. It just gives this car a really naughty little character, and you find it's capable of things that you just wouldn't imagine it to be. It really does shrink around you when you start pushing on, and I really like this car. I don't think I could own one because of the image, and I really want to sort of hold back from ever owning an SUV, well, for as long as I can anyway, until they take over the world, a bit like electric cars. But you know what? I really have enjoyed my time with this car, and it's one of those cars that, you know, I won't really want to give back when someone from Audi comes and picks it up tomorrow, because it's given me some excitement, it's given me some good times, good memories. I've just enjoyed my time with it. And it sounds really good on the outside as well. I guess my conclusion for this car is it's a model and a variation that we really don't need on this planet. We really don't. There is no need for this car whatsoever. But I've had a lot of fun in it, and in fact I actually prefer it to an RS3, which is really weird, and I can't believe I'm saying that. But an RS3, they're amazing cars, and you know, they've got a lot of performance, and they do sort of punch above their weight, but they never really excite me. Yet this car has somehow given me more excitement than an RS3, and I don't know if that's just because of the fact that it shouldn't be giving me any more excitement, and the fact that it is giving me any whatsoever is enhancing that fact, if that makes sense. But I've had lots of fun in this car, and I really can't believe that I have, and that I'm saying that, and I've raved to a lot of people about how good it is, whether it's, you know, being used just to cruise around town at 30 miles an hour, pick up the shopping and do boring duties, daily stuff, or whether you're actually, you know, nailing it down your local favourite bit of road in the pissing rain. It just deals with it, and it just, yeah, it's a really impressive car. So I kind of half salute Audi for producing such an interesting little car. I don't want to encourage manufacturers to build more and more of these SUVs, because I think cars should be getting smaller and lighter, but this is a very interesting proposition. Guys, thanks a lot for watching as always. Please make sure you are subscribed and you press the bell icon for notifications of new videos. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and leave any questions and comments below the description. Until the next time, I'll see you then.